Yo, what is happening? Coach B here, BPC. Wanted to run through OMG, by the way, good name. Oxford, Mississippi Gravel. Not oh my gosh. But anyway, diving into things. So, did this course last year. I did the 100 miler, which is actually a little short. You can see 47.7 miles. So, a little short of the 100. But a challenging course, nearly 3,000 foot of elevation gain per lap for those that are doing the 100, and obviously 3,000 ish feet for those only doing or that are doing the 50. There's no only about this. As you can see, very few flat portions of this course. This year, so we're 2021 now, it's going to be cold. So a cold start and a downhill start. But then you get straight into two pretty solid hills. So I'm kind of zooming in here. You're going to roll out. This is paved, and you have a hard right. It narrows and goes into gravel, and you have two pretty substantial climbs right away. If you are not warmed up, you are going to be in trouble. So make sure you have a good warm up before this race starts, or you may end up on your limit. And playing chase. So then we continue. Sorry, you get through that first part, kind of a net uphill, dives back downhill, and again another climb, and that's kind of the theme for this course. A lot of undulation, some faster downhills, straight back into uphills. So it's going to be a very tough course. I think most notable, from what I can remember from last year, I have slept since then. I remember the hills on the initial section being tough. This climb here, we'll go ahead and highlight it, was more of a challenging climb as well. And never trust the elevation profiles that they give you on this. So that was a more challenging one. And then let me zoom out here. On the sort of backside of this course, right after you take a right-hander, where was it? I think it's one of these. I think it's these two right here. At mile roughly, what are we at here? Oh gosh, the little screen share thing's in my way, so I can't see. Probably roughly the 20-ish mile mark, and again right after that, at the what was that going to tell us? At like the 22-mile mark, are some challenging climbs. Again, it's all going to depend on how the group races it, how the people ride it. You do end up with a paved section, so there's the aid here, right where it goes from gravel to paved, and then this is all road. So kind of from the 28-mile mark until you dump off of this right here. So until the 31-mile mark, there's 3 miles of paved road. So you get a little bit of relief. Word has it that the course is pretty dang fast this year. I will say one spot that I found really hard last year is this final. So you get back onto paved road right about here, I think. So right about mile 42-ish. I think is kind of where you dump 41, 42, and then we have a paved section as you get onto whatever little highway that is. But this is going to be all paved until we dive back down this road. So for those that did it last year, for those that did it in 2020, before this pandemic hit, it was a little bit different. So you actually came down this really steep hill. So this is a steep hill right here. This is what we're going up now. The finish last year was a little further down. It looks like finish this year is going to be pretty much at the top of that climb. But last year in 2020, we came all the way to the same entrance. You went down, and then we did this little section here, which is not visible. So I'm not totally sure what it looks like past this Baptist church, that Bay Springs Baptist church, and when, maybe we can go to satellite and get a better feel for it, where we switch to gravel. I'm guessing all that's paved. Yeah, it looks like it's all paved until you get right next to that church, and then you're going to dump into gravel. This was pretty, I'm guessing it's gravel. This was narrow, It was muddy. This is kind of low-lying flat area. So this was some of the more muddy part of the course last year. This section right here, you can see if you're looking at the elevation profile down here as well. This was a pretty steep. There's a little tree right here. This was a fairly steep, rutted out section. So that was a pretty challenging section. Traction can be an issue there. I don't know how it's going to be this year. This was all shut down for folks that were previewing it, so not totally sure. Then we got this flat, super flat section, which takes you to where it goes paved again. Pavement hits again, I think, right here. And once we kick onto this pavement, maybe it was a little sooner than that. No, that's right. So once it kicks onto this, oh wait, no, it was right here. So the pavement starts, and you're straight up this steep hill. And this thing's a doozy. Last year, I believe I was on a 40, what am I on? A 46. I did not have my two easiest gears. They weren't shifting into it. 46, 25, maybe? 23? And it was out of the saddle, maxed out. I mean, it says it's 9.5%. That's easy 16%. So it's going to be a very challenging finish. It does taper off near the end. So it does ease off, but it's going to be a full gas who can get up that hill the quickest. There's going to be no real time to recover. So if you got the legs, you're going to do well. You know, if the legs are still feeling good by the end, but this will be a make or breaker. If you come together or come to the bottom of that hill together, it's going to be a matter of who has the power to weight ratio to smash that really steep climb at the end of a race. All right, before I get too long-winded on this, couple keys. I guess keys are always good going into a race. Number one, if we're just to break this down, it would be you need to make sure, with a cold race, it's really easy to not eat nearly as much as you should. So there's still going to be a lot of calorie burn. It's going to be easy for you not to eat. Most people are going to have the thicker gloves on, 30 degrees or so at the start. For the 100 milers, hopefully it'll be a couple degrees warmer for the 50s. But it's only supposed to get to like 38, 39-ish on the day. So it's going to be a colder day. You're still going to need fuel. So make sure you are eating. Have your bars, whatever it is you consume, make sure you have those pre-opened. Because fumbling around with big, thick gloves while you're trying to ride on gravel is not going to be an easy thing. Also, if you're going to be wearing multiple layers, I would put some nutrition in each layer. That way, if you're shedding from one layer to the next, you don't go from having food to not having food. So I would have kind of plan out, based on temps, when you might be shedding gear, assuming you are, and making sure you got fuel sources in multiple layers. Good chance that I'm probably wearing my tights, my bibs underneath, jersey, jacket, wind jacket, and I'll probably just keep all my fuel in that wind jacket. I don't think I'm going to be shedding a jacket in those temps. I'll have arm warmers underneath. So number one, make sure you're focusing on eating. Don't get sidetracked or thinking it's cold and not fuel, or that's going to come back to haunt you. Number two, it's really hard when it's cold, but ideally you're going to want to warm up. These first two hills are not going to be fun, so we're going to want a warm up. If your plan is to see how well you can do, if it's to stay with the front group, you can't leave it to chance. If you're going out there to have your best race and you're going to be able to pace yourself and you're not worried about a group, then obviously you can kind of warm up as this race starts. But if you're planning on racing it from the front, you need to make sure you're revved up and ready to go. And then my third takeaway here is going to be, I'm losing my train of thought. Third tip, shift often. So with rolling courses like this, it's really easy to get lazy and get stuck in a big gear. Make sure you are spinning as much as you can on the front end of the race, and you will be really happy that you have your quads saved some. That muscular fatigue we're trying to minimize because you're going to need it late in the race, late during this event, especially as you conquer that 16-ish% beast near the end. And I think that's all I got. Look forward to seeing folks out there. Hope everyone has a great time. Stay safe, stay rubber side down, and remember, chamois time is hammer time. Peace.